Henwolf, did you wake up to let people know that they can support the show by signing up for Patreon? She did! That's right, you can go to incrediblyhandsome.com and sign up for the Patreon, and you'll allow us to make more episodes of Popcorn Fodder, but most importantly, you'll get into the Christmas spirit and maybe just bring Henwolf a milk bone. Wow, she's sick of your shit.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
Popcorn fodder makes me hotter.
Oh man, do you feel it in the air? I feel it in the air. You know what? For everybody on the show, I sprung, and I was gonna wait till Christmas Day, but I got us stock footage of a fireplace to warm ourselves to. Do you hear that, Henwolf? It's a Christmas miracle. Let's see it. Let's go to it. Oh, that's nice. Henwolf doesn't think that's funny. Well, now that we're cozy, welcome my friends of mistletoe and mayhem. I'm Henrique Couto, and I am thrilled to tell you, Popcorn Fodder is back. The show where we watch the fearful and the festive alongside you and maybe some milk and cookies. The holidays are upon us, and it can definitely be a polarizing time, to say the least, and not just because of family dinner discussions of looming election years, though that doesn't help much. As often as there can be joy and excitement, there's also expectation and frustration. When it comes to Christmas time, I'm generally known as a beacon of celebratory joy. I get infatuated with it. I love the lights. I even love the sales. I live in the Midwest, where Black Friday is polite but exciting. The worst thing that happens to you here at a big sale is someone bumps into you and forgets to say "ope." I love any excuse to celebrate, and the holiday season is certainly no exception. My credit cards are always taxed by New Year's, but it's worth it because there's no feeling quite like gift giving. I'm very fortunate to be able to shuffle through so many great memories of this time of year in my brain, but often what always floats to the top are the not so easy memories. About 5 years ago was the hardest Christmas of my life. This was the same year I lost my job and a long-term relationship had run its course. I was embarking on making movies as a full-time job, which sounds exciting, and it was, but it was a time of uncertainty. As December started, I was dreading where I was headed, often stressed out and feeling alone. I spent time with friends, and I had good times, but when you come home afterwards, sometimes the depression is just it's just waiting for you. The week of Christmas, I made a promise to myself that I would do everything I could to keep myself positive. Mostly little things like getting my favorite cereal to eat in the morning or getting the DVD set of the Garfield holiday specials. Side note, the Garfield Christmas special makes me ugly cry. It's beautiful, but man, what a story. Snot everywhere. Niagara Falls, Frankie Angel. Anyway, those things were helping a lot, but what really helped was counting my blessings. Making films had taken me a lot of places all over the country and introduced me to so many people. Over the years, some of the people I've worked with or befriended, they've taken it upon themselves to send me gifts. On Christmas morning, I sat alone under my tree, and those were the gifts I opened. Along with ones from my mother, of course. She would be so mad if I didn't mention, she'd be like, "You're not that alone, I'm here." She is. She always has been, and I love her dearly. At first glance, this could seem sad, but I felt so connected and thought of. And I'm so grateful for that Christmas. The Christmas that made me realize what I was doing with my life was worthwhile, that it was providing me in more ways than just monetarily. My alone Christmas was special because it made me realize how wrong I was, how not alone I was. It was when I truly realized the holiday can be whatever I want them to be, because I'm the adult now. I can celebrate with loved ones at home. I can celebrate at home with loved ones on the phone. Or I can celebrate eating a bowl of cereal and crying about a cartoon cat. I hope that you watching take the lead too. Have the holiday you want to have, and don't let anyone, most importantly yourself, tell you different. So wear your horror movie ugly Christmas sweater, appreciate Die Hard as a Christmas movie, and no matter how crappy your uncle might be, share a dank meme with him, because it is the season of giving. Find your joy and chase it this holiday season, and if someone doesn't want to join you in your joy, it's their loss. All right. Well, tonight I intend to fully enjoy my festive, non-denominational holiday soapbox. In the spirit of making the holidays whatever you want, we've got something near and dear to my heart. Christmas horror. This is a subgenre I can't get enough of, and nearly anyone can identify with the holiday season, so it ticks the relatability box. And the lights and music are so intoxicating, so it ticks the aesthetic box. And blood red. It's a Christmas color. Little baby Jesus would love it. So tonight's film is about a small town where on Christmas Eve in 1950, a man was mysteriously burned alive. His estate was converted into an insane asylum, and now the heir is trying to sell it, but obviously there's some bad news afoot, and it's probably not just the plumbing. Tonight, under the tree, we get to unwrap Silent Night, Bloody Night, and with a name like that, it's gotta be good. Grab an eggnog, a cherry cordial, or just a big axe, because you're gonna need it. Silent Night, Bloody Night. Let's press play. Ho, ho, ho. The more things change, the more they stay the same.
One last time, I have to see this ground. It's beautiful now, as if nothing had happened here. Soon they will tear down the main house, and then nothing will be left. Nothing. Except what I remember. I grew up in the town nearby, where my father was the mayor, and where this house stood, waiting for me. It was built by Wilfred Butler. We had never seen him, and he never lived at home. Until the day before Christmas in 1950, he finally did come back. For the last time. All of us believed that his death was an accident. No one knew that another person had come to Butler House that Christmas.
As Deputy Coroner of the County of Arlington, State of Massachusetts, I hereby find, upon evidence of an autopsy conducted by the medical examiner of this county, that the deceased, Wilfred Butler, died as a result of burns inflicted accidentally upon himself on his own premises during the afternoon of December 24th, 1950. No further inquiry shall be held over the body of the deceased, and this inquest is officially closed.
All is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child.
After the coroner's inquest, on New Year's Day, they buried Wilfred Butler. There was no one there to mourn him. It was the funeral of a stranger.
I, Wilfred Butler, being of sound mind and body, at least what the world considers sound, do hereby leave my house and its grounds and all personal effects within that house to my only surviving relation, my grandson, Geoffrey Butler. And I solemnly charge him with one duty. Let him leave the house as I left it, standing untouched to remind the world of its inhumanity and cruelty.
For 20 years, that house lay empty, exactly as Wilfred left it. And then, last year, rumors began that it was finally being sold. The newspaper story traveled through the county to a state hospital for the criminally insane. The man who came to sell the house had never seen it. He was a lawyer from the city, just doing a job and enjoying it.
hopeless. Oh, look!
Hey, wait, where you going now? The mayor's gonna have a fit, kid.
One more shot.
Come on.
Stay there. I want one together. Smile.
For all the news as it happens, stay tuned to WLIX, your voice of the Northeast. This is Roger Fowler with local stories. First, today's headlines. A warehouse fire still rages in Elizabeth. Police suspect arson. That escaped inmate at Margaretville State Hospital still at large, still hunted by state police. And over in Roxbury, the city passes a controversial housing code.
Well, didn't I tell you? It's beautiful.
Can we see the rest of it?
Honey, that was it. I think the mayor's waiting for me.
My love is such an important man.
Right. Laura always says that.
Darling,
What?
don't be long.
Honey, if you get bored, just look at the view. Sooner or later, that viaduct's gonna take us back home.
Mr. Carter.
Mr. Mayor.
Let me introduce you. This is Charlie Toman, who publishes our weekly newspaper, The Patriot.
Mr. Tolman?
And this is Tess Howard.
How do you do?
She operates our switchboard.
Oh, really?
We call her the communications director. And this is Bill Mason.
Mason?
Our sheriff. Won't you sit there, Mr. Carter, at the head of the table?
Thank you. I didn't expect to meet you all together. It's quite a reception. All right, let's begin. As you know, I've been retained by Jeffrey Butler. The matter concerns the house that he inherited from his grandfather, Wilfred Butler.
Go on, Mr. Carter.
I believe that you offered to buy the house for my client.
Offered. We begged him. We wrote letters
That's
and we...
enough, Tess.
Well, it's true.
Trouble. There's always trouble.
I can sympathize.
I spent the last 20 years and more driving people away from there. Prowlers, burglars, kids, they're the worst. Chasing for nothing because of that will. That dribble about humanity. No. Inhumanity. What the hell is that, huh?
Yes, well, he was a bitter man.
Hate?
It must have been very hard.
It must have been hate.
That man hated. Well, some people are like that.
The question is, well, do you still want the house?
Are you offering it to us, Mr. Carter?
Exactly.
Why now?
Well, that's Mr. Butler's business, isn't it?
You know we're not rich. Most of us came here during the Depression. But we love this town. It's our home.
And naturally, you want to improve it.
Exactly.
My client understands that, and he fully sympathizes, and he's willing to sacrifice the house for $50,000 in cash by noon tomorrow.
That's an awful lot of cash.
It's also an awfully good bargain.
You could go to Wilton. You could go now to the bank.
Am I clearly understood?
All that cash.
Perfect. I'll wait for your answer till tomorrow.
You're spending the night here?
Yes.
May I ask where?
At the Butler house.
We could put you up at the motel as our guest.
No, the house is fine.
The Paradise Motel.
That's very kind of you, but I'm meeting Mr. Butler about some personal items.
You'll want a phone. I can reconnect the line.
Don't trouble, please.
No trouble. You'll need a phone.
Don't want to be stuck out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've convinced me. Thank you.
By the way, have you known Mr. Butler a long time?
No, I've never met him. He called me and asked me if I'd handle this for him. I said yes. He had the key delivered to my office. Mr. Mayor, Sheriff, Mr. Tolman, Miss Howard, see you all tomorrow. In fact, I'm looking forward to it. Slick, really slick.
He's a big lawyer, Bill. You've got to expect that.
Don't tell me about lawyers.
Oh, you see the way he looked at us? You see his clothes?
He's doing his job.
Just don't tell me about lawyers. You know what I'd like to see? Two of them like that one talking to each other. Neither one of them would know what to believe.
Good girl. So what has Silent Night Bloody Night jammed into our stocking so far? Well, we have crackerjack lawyer John Carter, most likely just back from Mars, hired by Jeffrey Butler to sell his family's cursed estate to some geriatric bigwigs. Speaking of those bigwigs, one is played by the legendary John Carradine, who only utters dubbed-in grunts. We'll talk more about him in a little bit. Silent Night Bloody Night, sometimes known as Death House, was originally released in 1972. But in 1974, the broadcast rights were sold to CBS, of all places, for a reported $300,000. That's against a budget of $295,000. I'm no math surgeon, but that's money in the bank. And from there, it became a late-night staple, filling the need for holiday viewing of a darker variety. In fact, TV executive Larry Casey was quoted about the purchase as saying, "Don't get me wrong, I loved White Christmas and traditional holiday movies, but how many times can you watch those things?" That's a man after my own heart. Directed by Theodore Gershuni, who later made a name for himself in television, directing many episodes of anthology shows like Tales from the Dark Side and Monsters. Honestly, he seemed to be kind of an artsy type. He dug through Andy Warhol's infamous factory to assemble his cast. Most notably to me, anyway, would be Mary Warnov, who also went on to make a name for herself in many Roger Corman classics like Death Race 2000 and Rock and Roll High School, as well as her unforgettable portrayal of Mary Bland in Eating Raoul. Other Warhol mainstays were Ondine, Candy Darling, Kristen Steen, Tally Brown, Louis Love, filmmaker Jack Smith, and artist Susan Rothenberg, who all have roles in this picture, as does the aforementioned horror icon John Carradine, and of course he's saying absolutely jack shit in this film, though I do kind of love his portrayal of a mute because he has a great deal of intensity. Kind of reminds me of a performance of the deaf guy in Breaking Bad, actually, but I digress. Speaking of artsy types, the film was produced by that paragon of good taste, my friends, Lloyd Kaufman. Known as the founder of Troma Entertainment and creator of The Toxic Avenger, Kaufman and director Gershuni would go on to work on a sex comedy called Sugar Cookies together shortly after this film. Another interesting tidbit, by the way, this would be one of the first Cannon Films releases, the studio that would later be purchased by Israeli filmmakers Menachem Golan and Yoram Globus, and become the stuff of legend for seemingly never-ending onslaughts of Chuck Norris and Charles Bronson action films. Unrelated but important, did you know that Santa Claus actually sits on Chuck Norris's lap and tells him what he wants for Christmas? Anyway, the Yule is cruel, and I think it's about time we head back to this snowy little burg and find out what the hell is going on at the Butler house. Silent Night, Bloody Night, let's press play.
I love you too. Honey, when I get home, I'm gonna have a nice surprise for you. Oh, no, I can't tell you what it is now. It wouldn't be a surprise, now would it? No, I can't come home now, but it'll be very soon. Very soon. Honey, of course I miss you. Yes, I miss Mommy too. Laura, how are you, kid? So I'll call tomorrow. No, I want to call. I want to talk to Jenny. Yeah, well, as a matter of fact, I'm having a fine time. Well, same to you, darling. What do you mean, hostile?
I was wondering, if we get it, what then?
Tear it down.
Okay. I'd better get going. Do me a favor, Tess. Call Diane, tell her I'm going to Wilton, and I'll be back late.
It's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah. Butler wasn't kidding. Nobody's lived here for years.
That would be such a waste.
It's his grandfather's monument. You know, there's a caretaker who keeps this place just the way he left it.
What kind of monument is this?
Well, that's the trouble. Nobody remembers anymore.
That's what usually happens in America.
I remember this. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I'm his own. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own, and the joy shared as we tarry there.
You're not serious.
I used to hear that at funerals.
At funerals?
I was a kid in Chipley, Georgia. There was also a Chipley Flower Day. But they have both been subsequently eradicated from the map. None other has ever known.
A delicatessen, so I brought you pastrami, salami, potato salad, macaroni, everything you like.
I'll have bologna and macaroni. No, some of that potato salad. Did you pick the wine, too?
The delicatessen man took a personal interest in its selection.
Oh, well, we got lucky again. That's early 1970. That's hard to come by.
Can I have some, too?
Of course you may.
Thank you. It must have been wonderful.
What?
The people who lived here. They must have had a wonderful life.
Well, I hope they did. Wilfred Butler must have believed in something. Look at that stone fireplace, parquet floor, the mahogany, this table. Now, you probably think this place is made of wood, right?
Well...
Wrong. You know what his grandson told me? Underneath that wood, there's 2 feet of stone. The foundation is 8 bricks wide. Now, someday they're going to come in here and they're going to tear this place down and they're going to build little tract houses all over this property on quarter-acre and half-acre lots. And that bulldozer's going to come up that hill toward this house. And it's going to get the surprise of its life. They built a kingdom out here. Only nobody's left.
No? Butler has a grandson.
No. He's probably like the rest of us. Wants money. You know, he's asking $50,000 cash for this place, and if you only wait, he can get at least $250,000. But he won't take his time. So he'll get screwed.
Do you want to go upstairs now?
Soon. You know, one of the great pleasures in life is the pleasure of anticipating pleasure. Isn't it?
We are very close now, aren't we?
Sure, honey. Very close.
I don't see any beds yet.
Well, keep looking, honey. Butler said the place is furnished. It's furnished.
Anything doing?
No, sir. But look at this.
More football, huh?
Look how they smeared that quarterback. Look at his arm. Got no time now. Protest. How about that telephone up at the Butler house? Is it working? Well, try it now. I'll wait.
Hello? Oh, yes, Miss Howard. Yeah, the phone's working fine. Very nice of you to call. Thank you. Good night. Honey, I'm going down to the car to get some cigarettes. Be back in a minute.
Okay.
Don't get lonely.
No, no. Did you get your cigarettes?
Yes, I did.
May I have one?
Sure. You know, it's the most amazing thing. These cigarettes come in these very small packages these days.
Oh, that's for me?
Mm-hmm.
Can I open it?
Oh, no. Our Christmas is day after tomorrow.
Is that an order?
Yes, ma'am, that's an order.
Guess what? This episode of Popcorn Fodder is brought to you by Henflix.com, and that's my personal web store where you can buy the films I've directed, but also neato Popcorn Fodder merchandise like this pillow and some t-shirts. I mean, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff on there. So please check out Henflix.com, get some cool Popcorn Fodder merch, some cool movies, help us keep the show independent, and we'll both appreciate it, and this guy might get an extra treat. Do you want a treat? Is that what you want? You just want me to leave you alone, don't you? Dogs, dude. Dogs. Oh, buddy. Lay down, buddy. I want you to snuggle with me. Good boy. Good boy. Merry Christmas, little butt. Looks like Carter and his sexiful love interest Ingrid won't be making another call on the Butler house. Well, not again anytime soon, or, ever. She should have listened when people told her, fur is murder. There's a lot going on here for horror hounds to absorb. With its black-gloved killer and violent murders and religious iconography, Silent Night Bloody Night comes across as kind of an American giallo, the type of Italian shocker made famous by the likes of Dario Argento, Mario Bava, and many, many more, which in turn was based on the German Krimi films, which also had murderous mayhem at their core. That makes me sound really educated that I knew about the Krimi films. Plus, you can't go wrong with a bit of the old sex, axe, Jesus thing that kids these days just love. Many described the making of the film as troubled, to say the least. Mary Warnov has said the script was just terrible and didn't make any sense. A dead giveaway that the film needed a lot of help in post-production to turn it around is that opening scene. All the voiceover and still images setting up the story, which I do think worked, by the way. I think it was a good move. But it's a classic way to help a film along while not actually filming anything new, because you see, in the days of making films on actual film, every second shot was very, very expensive. Speaking of saving things in the editing room, you may or may not have noticed all the dialogue of James Patterson as Jeffrey Butler was added later in post-production after the star succumbed to cancer. This really exemplifies the world of low-budget filmmaking and its get-it-done-at-any-cost aesthetic. Not even the death of a star can keep the show from going on. Oh, by the way, the house used as the Butler Mansion still exists in Long Island, New York, which was standing in for a sleepy town in Massachusetts. So hey, fire up the gas guzzler and go annoy some innocent homeowners next time you're on the East Coast. But please, no more burning mannequins in the front lawn. It was funny the first 27 times, but now it's just played out, guys. All right? Chicano, I think I hear sleigh bells. I guess Santa's watching the film with us, buddy. So let's not be naughty and get back to the film. Silent Night, Bloody Night. Let's press play.
Bill, someone's calling from Butler House.
Okay, put him on.
Go ahead now.
Mr. Carter?
I'm not Carter.
Who is this?
The owner.
Butler.
I'm worried, Sheriff. Carter's not here.
Speak up, I can't hear you.
I can't. I'm sick. Can you come here?
What is it? What's wrong?
His car's here, but he's gone. Won't you come?
Okay. Now you stay put in that house.
I'll wait for you. Please, hurry. I'm afraid.
Now take it easy. I'm coming.
Mr. Butler, are you done?
Yes. I have come back.
What's that?
To see you again.
Hello? Who is this?
You know me, Tess. It's Mary Ann. Tell the mayor. Tell them all. I'm waiting in my father's house. Tess. It's so lonesome here. Don't be long.
Hello? 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 my God, where is everybody?
Hello?
Oh, Maggie, thank goodness.
What is it, Tess?
Something's come up. Something urgent. Can you start early?
Oh, honey, I'm watching TV.
Maggie Daly, you get yourself over here.
What is it?
Just get moving, Maggie. Just please, hurry. Come in. It's open. Okay, mister, that's far enough. What do you want here?
Mayor,
Try again. My father's not home. And don't move.
you want me to put my hands up?
No. Just stay there. What are you staring at?
I seem to remember you from the road.
That's why I'm holding a gun. You scare me.
Well, that makes sense.
Thanks.
Does everybody carry one here?
You can ask the sheriff when he gets here. I'll call him.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, but the sheriff's office is empty.
How do you know?
I was just there.
Who are you?
Jeffrey Butler.
Oh, you're the one who's selling the house.
Yes.
Have you any ID?
Come on.
Don't laugh at me. I want your ID. Some maniac escaped from Margaretville.
Okay.
Put it on the table. Now go back. California license. Lucky you.
Would you like to see my maniac card from the asylum? They give you one when you escape. There's a big scarlet M on it so people won't get confused.
Okay. Look, I'm sorry about the gun. My father's in Wilton getting your money.
All I want to do is to get into my house.
The sheriff's deputy might have a key. He's about the only one I know of.
Well, where's he?
You go down the road about 1.5 miles till you come to a white house with a white fence. And then you can't miss it.
Thanks.
That's okay.
Merry Christmas.
Same to you.
If I don't call back in an hour... What? Call the mayor or Mr. Towan and nobody else. Promise me you'll do that.
Well, sure.
Mark it down, honey, so you'll have it.
Sheriff to 301. I'm heading west on Route 5 to Butler House. You'll hear from me.
What the hell? What's that light out there?
Hi.
Hi.
Did you find the deputy?
No, I wasn't there.
I was thinking, isn't your lawyer supposed to be at the house?
The door was locked. His car was there, so I borrowed it.
You mean you stole a car?
Yeah. Keeping it warm.
What if he needs it?
Let him find me. Who's coming to dinner?
Oh, Daddy. We always have dinner every Thursday. Do you want something?
No, I ate Paradise Motel.
Yeah, I know. It's awful. What about a drink?
Yeah.
It's cheap bourbon, but it's a big favorite around here. Do you want ice?
No, straight.
You look tired.
I am tired.
Well, here's to a fast dollar.
Cheers.
Why did you decide to sell the house?
Needed the cash.
After all these years?
I need it now.
What's it like on the inside? You know, I've never seen the inside. When I was a child, my father told me to stay away from it, or something terrible might happen. Sort of like a haunted house.
I haven't seen it either.
You're going to sell it? You've never seen it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's too bad. It's about the only place to see around here. Oh, I forgot. Someone keeps calling with a message for my father. She says that she's waiting at your house, in the reception room.
What woman is waiting in my house in the reception room?
Oh, I don't know. It's not a voice that I know.
I better go out there.
Can I come too?
What for?
I'm pushy. I suppose you'll be going back to California soon. California. You said you lived there, remember?
No, I'll be traveling.
Jeff, look. It's the sheriff's car. There's a light. And look at that tombstone. Pretty cheerful.
Who bears the cross shall wear the crown. Wilfred Butler. My grandfather.
Oh.
Someone left their sunglasses in the snow.
They're the sheriff's.
My lawyer's missing. So is the sheriff. You get strange phone calls. And now someone's fascinated by my grandfather's grave.
Let's get out of here.
You still want to go to my house?
Yes. But I don't want to go alone.
Listen.
I'm not nervous.
Well, of course you're not.
Oh, it's the cold. I'm shaking from it. Let's get out of here.
Okay.
We'll get help in town. It's 10 minutes drive.
Good night, Mr. Toman. Have a nice holiday.
Deputy's not here, but Toman is.
Who's Toman?
Come on, you'll see. Mr. Toman, wait. No, please, I have to talk to you. I'm sorry. This is Jeffrey Butler. He's the one who's selling the house. He can't get inside the place. And my father's gone to Wilton. So we wondered...
Anything wrong?
He'll tell us. Tess has gone to his house.
Why would she go there?
I don't know. Anyway, she won't get in. You say it's locked. He says she hates the place.
Would you like to drive there? Diana could stay here, lock herself in.
I need a key.
Ho, ho, ho! The plot thickens, and Jeff and his newly acquired girl Friday, Diane, are hot on the trail of whoever the hell Marianne is. The sheriff is missing, and our heroes have to rely on the grunts and gestures of Toman to provide clues. Seriously, a fortune cookie would reveal more about anything in life than this dude, and you'd get lucky numbers. Toman, of course, played by horror royalty John Carradine, who has more than 300 acting credits to his name. Narrowing down any particular role to me would just simply not do him justice. This was the later half of his career as he passed away in 1988 at the tender age of '82. He had many fun roles in so many films, working intensely all the way up until the end. So I want to take a second to say, Mr. Carradine, we salute you. And we will see you many more times on Popcorn Fodder, for sure. So now we see things shift into more of a mystery motif, and it's not the last genre shift that's going to be had here, I can tell you that much. This one seemingly wants to appeal to both the drive-in crowd as well as the supermarket mystery paperback crowd. What could be next? Who will survive? And what will be left of them? Oh, sorry, that's the wrong movie. Well, okay, since you are, of course, my captive audience, I want to take a second and get a little controversial. I'm going to need a little liquid courage here. It's Diet Cream Soda. I hear people slam the holidays for being too commercial, for being one giant consumerist mambo that no one wants to dance to. And I would be a fool and a liar if I said Christmas wasn't consumerist. But I don't see that as such a bad thing. Like nearly everything else in life, it's what you make of it, unlike certain things, i.e. religion. Consumerism is surprisingly welcoming. Doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what you believe in, they're encouraging you to buy and give gifts. Now, yeah, if you don't have money, they don't care about you, but a dollar store gift from someone you love is enough to make any heart beat with joy, or at least mine. I don't mind the consumerism because I want to welcome everyone into the gift giving, the song singing. I could really give a rat's ass about the religious overtones. Christmas has become so secularized that I say we go and celebrate with the people we love, candy canes and big screen TVs. There's no harm in that, and I'll tell you right now, I'd rather have a commercial holiday than a religious one anyhow, because the worst Black Friday sale in the history of the world doesn't touch the endless ideological wars that mar our beautiful world every single day. So give gifts and love. We're all in this together, and I don't want us divided for any reason. Jewish, Christian, black, white, we can all love a flat screen TV with a great film playing on it together. And even sometimes the films we get to show on Popcorn Fodder. So now that I've undoubtedly touched or bothered the majority of the audience, let's get back to the intrigue as we see where this holly jolly horror is going exactly, because Silent Night, Bloody Night. Let's press play. I just had to bash religion on Jesus' birthday. And he wanted a skateboard.
Roman, this isn't my house. It's Tess's.
Tess isn't here. Are you satisfied? She must have gone to my place. Well, why wouldn't she go there? She hates it. Maybe she went to see the woman who's there. Someone called the mayor's house before. Said she'd be waiting. What is it?
Hello, Jeff? Hello? Is anybody there? I'm Diane Adams. I spoke to you before.
Bring your father to the house. This is Marianne. Tell him I have the diary. I'm waiting.
Who are you?
He'll know. Christmas Eve, 1935.
Hello? Hello?
Signal 10, 704, C Charlie. 704, signal 10, 704, C Charlie.
Sheriff, I saw your car. Bill? Is that you?
Tess, you can't see me, but I can see you. Oh, yes, I remember that face. You're older now, and fatter, but still Tess. And you're frightened, aren't you? Don't be afraid. I want to help you. Take my hand. Take it, Tess.
The person on the telephone said 1935, Christmas Eve. But that's not the beginning. In 1927, Butler House was restored by Wilfred Butler. After that, I find social notes, parties, nothing special. Then, in 1930, Butler's wife, Catherine, dies of tuberculosis. In August 1933, it starts. Wilfred Butler's daughter is cruelly attacked and raped. Her name is Marianne, the same name as the caller who left those messages tonight. She's 15 then. On May 2nd, 1934, Marianne Butler gives birth to a son, Jeffrey Butler. Jeff.
Early in 1935, Butler House is turned over to a Dr. Robinson as an asylum for mental patients. And then Butler goes on to say that he has committed his own daughter. Marianne will live at the asylum. There's no end to this story. It's been carefully cut out of all the papers. Why would Toman do that? You scared me. What happened?
What happened is, Tess has 40 bird cages. Toman is hysterical. Everybody's at my house but me. It's cold outside and you forgot to lock the door.
Joe, how old are you?
How old am I? You mean, how many years have I lived?
No. There's a lot in the paper about your family.
I don't want to talk about my family.
Wait a minute. There's a woman calling, and she says her name is Marianne. That was your mother's name, wasn't it?
My mother died in childbirth. That's when I started traveling.
It's not what the papers say.
What's your point?
I just thought that you should read something for your own good.
Nothing you could tell me about my past or future would be for my own good. Where is the paper?
It's on the table.
It's so stupid to lie. I missed the whole event.
Jeff, maybe your mother's still alive. Maybe she's waiting for you at the house.
I don't know. Come on. No more side trips. Let's go out there.
It's empty.
Jeff, look!
Stay back!
It's Toman!
Stay back!
She's dead.
His hands. Somebody cut off his hands.
You killed him. You killed Tolman.
He's asking for help.
You killed him.
Get in the car.
Guys, I know tonight's movie might be pretty scary to some of you, but there's something even scarier. Social media. If you want to follow me day or night, you can go to Twitter or Instagram at Popcorn Fodder or Facebook.com/Popcorn Fodder, or you could even write me an email at popcornfoddershow@gmail.com. Just know that I'm very afraid. Well, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna look for pennies under here to finance season 2. Now we get the troubled history of Jeff's family. The fact that he was a product of rape and the family home turned into an asylum to which the patriarch of the clan banished his daughter Marianne for treatment after her son Jeff, his bad self, is born. This whole dark house and unspeakable family secrets deal is straight up gothic thriller territory and adds a fun flavor to the proceedings, as well as another subgenre of the horror biz for the filmmakers to play in. It's that famous flavor of storytelling that independent terror cinema revels in, trying to hit as many notes as possible just to satisfy the viewers. Speaking of satisfying your customer, I know, last soapbox moment, I promise. I want to take a moment to tell you all something I'm deeply thankful for. People who work in the service industry. That may sound corny, but when you don't have a big family, or for whatever reason you don't have anywhere to be on or around the holiday, the fine folks making a paycheck at a restaurant or a store can often be your social outlet during a time many say is depressing. I think that people overlook that fact as they rally about how everyone should have the holiday off, and while I agree it would be nice if everyone could take the day off, realistically, who's going to be there for people with no dinner to go to? Who's going to be there for someone trying to manage 1,200 miles of travel that is 15 hours behind schedule because of 2 flat tires and a group of women posing as nuns who stole their 2001 VW Beetle? The smiling face of even just someone handing a hamburger through a drive-through window honestly has meant the world to me at more times than I care to admit. This is a first. Hen Wolf decided to join me in the middle of the segment instead of leaving. Good girl. Here you go. What, you can have a pillow on your body. She hates that. There you go. So for that, I simply want to say, if you're out there working on Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, or any of the others, thank you. There are many people you may not realize who appreciate you greatly. Oh, wow. Before I get overly sentimental, or maybe just mental, I think it's time we hit the thrilling conclusion of our film. Some kind of holiday-themed shit is about to hit a tinsel-covered fan. Silent Night, Bloody Night. Let's press play. This is the sweetest you've ever been on camera. Look at you. Got that bass.
Butler House.
The keys. He took them.
Yes, what?
This is Marianne Butler. I'm calling from my house. Won't you come over here, Mr. Mayor? We're having a reunion. Everyone's here, even your daughter.
I write this knowing that no one shall ever see it. Not my beloved daughter, or even my grandson, Jeffrey. I write for myself in the hope of forgiveness, if that is still possible. And I write for you, Marianne, whose youth and innocence I have destroyed. By 1935, the doctors had treated my daughter for a year. I had believed they could cure her. The child, Jeffrey, was taken from us and sent to California. I turned my house into an asylum. I brought doctors to live there. I welcomed other patients. Useless. All of it. I remembered what she had been. There was never a lovelier, happier child.
Ladies and gentlemen, quiet, please. I propose a toast. Doctor, please.
By Christmas of the first year, I knew that I must act, not for myself, but for my helpless child.
Led him to create this institution. Our friend.
I had no plan. All I knew was that I must take her from these men with their promises, their lies.
Shall we? Huh? For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny, which nobody can deny, which nobody can deny, for he's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny.
I knew that they would gorge themselves into a stupor that afternoon. It was their celebration. I expected no less. Since they had come into my house, they had acted as if they owned it. They had behaved like poor relations, half guilty, but finally unable to control their appetites. After dinner, they danced and drank as they usually did. All the time, Robinson would smile and reassure me. They expected me to believe, because I had no choice. Wilfred, trust me. He really believed Marianne would be well. He saw a light. There is a light at the end of a long tunnel.
Believe me. There is a light at the end of a long tunnel.
Stay here, Doctor. I'll get more champagne. He was ready. I knew it. Drunk and fat and full of his own importance. I left then. My cruelty to Marianne was inhuman. I know that. I had loved her. I had fathered our child, Jeffrey. I had brought her to this. But I swear that on that afternoon, all I wanted was to save my child. My hope was to get her away from that house. But also, I wanted to set free those other wretches who had so long been abused by the doctors. I knew what they might do if these inmates were freed. And this is my guilt. I knew. And still, I freed them. After the inmates started for the house, I went to get our car to take Marianne away. I do not know exactly when she slipped away from me. I assume that when they saw her in the dining room, the inmates believed her to be part of that household which they hated. And so, they killed her. Later, there was a celebration. And then most of the inmates fled. I don't know where. But I shall never forget what they did to my child. Since that Christmas, I have lived in prisons and asylums. Lived anonymously, as an animal. I have wandered in bitterness until all seasons have become as one. And that is a season of vengeance.
Jeff. Jeff.
Wilfred Butler is still alive. This is still his house.
Your grandfather died in 1950. He was burned to death in this house.
My grandfather poured gasoline over a squatter he found here. The town wanted to believe he was dead. They still do. This house was an asylum. There was a massacre by the inmates. Tess, Toman, the sheriff. Your father.
No.
All inmates. They killed my mother in this room.
Who's that? Who's there?
Daddy? Daddy?
Diane?
Jeff? Jeff? No. No. Jeff, why? Why?
Marianne. Don't run away. Don't. I'm your father. Don't be afraid. I won't hurt you. Please. It's all right.
I spent that night weeping. By morning, there were no more tears. I know that my father and Jeffrey both thought they were shooting at killers, but they were simply the last victims in that house of victims. And now, a year later, they will tear down Wilfred Butler's monument. But they can never destroy my memories of what happened here.
Wow, that got a bit dark, huh, friends? We get mental patients running amok, murder, and that hoary old Yuletide chestnut, incest. Everything that makes the holiday season just so damn special. In the end, we realize the entire damn town is nuts, and we have a shootout to end all shootouts. That kind of upbeat ending certainly warms the cockles of your heart on a cold winter night. But, of course, we have to ask, what have we learned? I know this shouldn't have to be said, but please don't impregnate your daughters. It's gross and really puts a damper on holiday dinner table talk. John Carradine was obviously paid by the word, so I hope you at least got some cookies and milk from the craft services, old chum. Can a zoned residential property be turned into an asylum on a whim? I guess the answer is no, but if you know otherwise, just let us know. Asking the audience is a lot cheaper than hiring an attorney. Well, my friends, I think it's about time myself and my Christmas puppies call it a night. She has a lot to unwrap tomorrow, and she's very, very sleepy. But we do want you to know how much we appreciate you spending a little bit of your holiday time with us. We love doing it, and we'll see you again super soon. So, merry whatever to you all, and to all, don't put an asylum in your house. Okay? We got that, right? Okay. And remember, there are no bad movies, only bad audiences. Later. Ho, ho, ho! That was a lot of incest.
Ladies and gentlemen, this picture contains scenes which under no circumstances should be viewed by anyone with a heart condition or anyone who is easily upset.
Ladies and gentlemen, bad boys and naughty girls, put your hands together for the Devil of Dayton. Please welcome your handsome host of Ohio, Henrique Couto.